everybody. I am your host. It's Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. Yes, that's right. The interview series that has been bringing you guests globally. Yes, all over the world. We go and find them for you. They help improve your personal life. They help you grow your business. And today we have an amazing guest. I didn't tell him this yet, but he is actually a namesake of a grandfather, a pop-up. He was my pop-up that was mayor of a town when I was a little girl. Fred McWilliams, who has passed and I adore and love, was my grandfather. And so Dr. Fred today, he is here. He is a leading, cutting edge chiropractor, helping other chiropractors globally expand their business, but also most importantly, helping them guide and support their patients so that they can discover the journey of finding truly their healthiest and best life. You know, this holistic side of things, really approaching things so that you're living your passion and your purpose and just sparkling and shining as we all should in this time here on our beautiful planet. So welcome, Dr. Fred.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. I'm excited about chatting with you and help enlighten people get back into your hearts, out of your mind, in your hearts, and shine the light that God created us to be.
I love that. And, you know, important to me in the very beginning was this of this year. One of my words, I choose a word, was alignment, really aligning myself spiritually, aligning my finances, aligning time with my family and relationships and my health, just getting everything. And mentally, I imagine that Jenga stack of wood, right? Where some of the pieces might be sticking out and hanging out, and I got to tighten them in so I have a solid pillar for my life in all areas of my life. And then the ones that are empty, those holes that are empty, filling them up and securing it so that I can be truly the best version of me. So I love that we're having this conversation. So tell us how kind of you led into the journey and were drawn to being a chiropractor and then expanding into supporting other chiropractors globally. And then some of this other additional work you started to add on to what you're doing.
Well, I'm going to go back to when I was a kid. We'll make this story quick, but I grew up in an immigrant Italian home, and I was in my grandparents' front yard, you know, and I was 7 years old, and I remember seeing my grandfather and his guinea team, the window behind him in the kitchen, my grandmother yelling in Italian. And I remember he was 73, and I was thinking, I wonder what's going through his mind, you know, and I'm thinking, when I'm that age, I want the world to be different. And that memory stood with me for a long time. So I felt like I was here for a purpose, even though I didn't know what it was. And then when I was in undergraduate school, I was pre-med. I wanted to be in healthcare, but I was raised by a mom who was an RN. I never liked drugs. This innately, it just didn't work. And I didn't want to do drugs and surgery. I thought there was a better answer, yet I was pre-med, so I was searching. And then I got a pamphlet from chiropractic school. And I'm like, chiropractors are stupid. They don't know anything. And I threw it away. I never even knew what a chiropractor was. And I got a second one. And then I'm like, they're dumb. And I threw it away. And then I got a third one. And I've had this belief in my life that when I'm praying for something and I get 3 signs, that God's talking to me. So I went and enrolled in chiropractic school, and I had no idea what chiropractic was. I literally, on my interview to get into chiropractic school, I literally told him, I have no idea what it is, but God told me this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do something great. And that was it.
That's
and then I learned, not in chiropractic school, but after, spine and nervous system, spinal cord is your lifeline, carries energy, all the organs. That is your lifeline. So your spinal structure and the curves, if they're not the right curves, or you have your spine's out of place, your posture's weak, it causes stress to that lifeline, shuts the energy down, and people get sick. So people would come in, why does the general public think you go to chiropractor? Well, doc, my back hurts, I have headaches, I have neck pain. And then we would take x-rays, and I studied a very advanced technique to restore the normal structure. And then I would find their diseases went away. I mean, I had people that were blind in one eye and their vision would come back, or they're deaf in one ear and that would come back. I had cancer tumors go away, diabetes get better, MS clear up. People get out of wheelchairs. They throw their walkers away. You know, it's like all these, you know, way back when, this was in the late 80s, you know. So chiropractic wasn't a household word like it is today. So back then, we got all the medical leftovers. We got the people where MDs said, I can't help you. And then they would end up desperate because our patients would say, you know, go see Dr. Fred, man. He helped my vision. He helped my diabetes. I don't have asthma anymore.
How about blood pressure? Does it help with blood pressure?
Blood pressure. Oh my God. Hypertension. Yeah.
Okay. So I have to do this. I am the Italian mother of 7. You all know this. And I have 8 grandchildren. But I'm not your mama, and I'm not giving you financial, medical, legal, or any other kind of advice. Go see a doctor, go talk to a financial planner, talk to a lawyer, visit whatever medical doctor you need to visit. We are sharing what has worked with us, our experiences, our personal stories, but will not be giving you any medical advice today. I will tell you, however, that I think posture is amazing. I also think posture is very sexy. I was at a party with my husband this weekend for a friend of his who just turned 60. And the women there, you know, were thin and beautiful, and I'm a little curvier. And my husband said, by far the most beautiful woman there, because a lot of them hunched, and it doesn't matter if you have the perfect everything, if you don't give off the same kind of energy either. And I know when I've gone to a chiropractor in conjunction with a masseuse, it has done magical things. And now I can't wait to find out what's the nearest chiropractor you've worked with near me, so that I can make sure I'm doing all the things right. But, you know, so tell us, I just had to comment because I just love what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Well, also, you know, people with these flex forward postures, by the way, I wrote a book. It's called The Best Kept Secret to Heal Your Back Pain. You can get that on Amazon, but it goes through medical studies that show the relationship between distorted posture, stress on the spinal cord, and the relationship to disease, including a shortened lifespan. So when your spinal cord carries energy, when there's stress on the cord, stretched like a rubber band, you know, it's all tense and tight. Not only aesthetically doesn't look sexy, if you would call that, but your body's not giving off the same energy. You're giving off, your body is actually in the state of disease, whether you have a disease or not. You're not radiating white light. You're not radiating the same energy. So I like the way you said that, because that's physiologically, energetically, what's actually happening. Your energy shut down. So
I love that. And so then you went on. So I guess you had some successful practices and of your own, and then you leaped. What took you to the leap to begin to support chiropractors globally?
Well, I always saw chiropractors more like self-empowerment coaches. You know, you were teaching a principle that people don't understand, and then wanting to live that lifestyle, because why would we? If health is energy, why would we take drugs? I would go to chiropractors first. So I thought, so I had the ability through studying and all this stuff to be able to communicate a way that people would start living chiropractic and it would affect generations. My goal was always to change healthcare, not build a practice. So I always had big practices, but then I noticed what I was doing was different than what the majority of other chiropractors were doing. So I started teaching chiropractors how to communicate. I started teaching them clinically how to fix people, to allow them to be able to not only heal a disease, but more importantly, live that lifestyle and teach that to their kids and their kids and their kids. And we can create a new world with a healthcare system that God gave us rather than man.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful idea. And one of the things that's really important to me is my husband and I are in the process of starting an additional business too on legacy. And legacy is more than just money. I want it to be a trust fund and resources for the grandchildren and beyond and the community. But I also want it to be a trust of knowledge, a vault of what we learned and the best books we've ever read and the best programs we've ever studied and things about mindset and our faith and art and our hobbies and pieces that the family actually physically made with their own hands and created. My husband's a master craftsman, and just all of the pieces. And I think this is the kind of legacy piece that would need to be included, the holistic health piece, so that and teaching in those communities how to have families preserve and pass this knowledge on, generation to generation, is something we've lost over the years. We used to be really good at it when it was just around the campfire and you just had to tell the story, and then someone else learned to tell the stories as well as the person who used to tell the stories, and it kept going from there. But with all this technology and information overload, and families living further apart, generations upon generations used to live under one roof, and now we're much more separated. So I think passing a legacy on is an art that's also been lost. So I love that you're teaching and arming an army of chiropractors to be able to work with their patients to help them have a holistic health opportunity, as well as find their best version of life in that. Because without health, you can't do anything. You can't inspire anyone. You can't motivate anyone. You can't achieve great things. You can't pass on great wealth, because without health, you know, if you're not here, you're not doing it, right?
Well, there's the old mantra: a person with his health has 1,000 dreams. A person without their health has one dream. So
Mm-hmm.
so one of the mantra that drives everything we do with patients is we're in the 1,000 dream business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love
Because
that.
when you have your health, you have 1,000 dreams. You can live your potential. And that was one thing when I was practicing. People would, my patients would always say, Dr. Fred, you're always so happy. You know what your purpose
Mm-hmm.
is. And they would say, I don't know what my purpose is. And I would
Mm-hmm.
feel bad for them, because that's definitely what got me out of bed and inspired every day and reach for the new
Mm-hmm.
level, is when you know you're doing what God called you to do and why you're in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured, well, if you don't have a purpose, man, then chiropractic can be your purpose. Tell other people they need to get in here and get healed, right? And so then after a while, I got into coaching, and then I got married. Well, this was my second wife, and then she was diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, by the way, she had a spinal problem that directly related to her immune system, but she didn't want to do anything about it. So the irony of all that taught me a lot, that, everybody's on their own journey with God, and that's
Mm-hmm.
between them and God. And all you can do
Mm-hmm.
is love them unconditionally along the way.
That's exactly right. Free will is one of our gifts, and one of the ways we are loved, right? Is that free choice. So hopefully everyone will choose health.
So anyway, 3 weeks before she died, I had to carry her to the bathtub. She normally weighed like low 120s, and now she was about 80 pounds. And she was definitely wasted away. She couldn't walk. So I carried her to the bathtub, and we were talking about her life celebration. It wasn't a funeral, it was a life celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden she started howling, crying. And I'm like out of the blue, like you hit a switch. And I said, what's wrong? And she said, I don't know if I did what I was supposed to do in this life. And the amount of sorrow, I can't explain the weight of that. And then, a little bit later, I thought, I am doing what I'm called to do. And then a very loud voice in my head said, no one in my life will ever say that to me again. And so after she passed and then I healed, I started on this accelerated spiritual journey to know who God created me to be, getting rid of my past, so to speak. And one day the acronym HEALED, here it is, fell on me. And I realized it was a spiritually based system of how to honor God within yourself. Start with, we're spiritual beings first. We're creating likeness and image of God. Genesis 1:27, right? God is in the temple is within us. There's a number of verses.
Yeah.
And then it's really how to love yourself like God loved you, how to forgive, accept forgiveness. And once you clear of that, you clear of all that emotional noise, Ella's living now, you come into presence. And then when your mind is quiet, be still and know that I'm God. But a lot of times we got to get rid of all the emotions of our past that are continually swirling in our mind all the time. Then you can hear God's whispers, the whispers of your innate, for you to establish and find out, wow, what's my purpose? To me, the first time it was 3 pamphlets, but I was paying attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. To know when I'm praying, look in the environment. Where are the signs that God's talking to me? Now, sometimes I'm like, God, you got to show me what to do. I'm a little ADD, you created me, I might miss it. So you might want to give me a significant sign or put it in front of me a couple times. So, and then D, deliver it to the world. So what it is how to tap into who God created you to be, how to love yourself, even if you have moments, even seconds of loving yourself like God loves you, you have a new life. And how to forgive, man. Isn't that what Jesus came? It's so funny because we teach these principles, where Jesus says, I can't quite quote the exact verse, but when he's asked by one of the apostles, what's the greatest commandment? 1, love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, right? 2, love your neighbor as yourself. So if you think about this, love your neighbor as yourself. And then later in the Bible, he goes, look, there's just one commandment. Like, imagine Jesus coming here. He's like, love your neighbor as yourself. And then he realizes, geez, they don't know how to love themselves. Like, what was I thinking? What I think is so easy. They don't know how to love themselves. So later in the Bible, in another book, he says, there's only one thing, just love as I have loved you. It's probably like, oh my God, they don't get it still.
It's funny, in an episode in the last few weeks or very recently, we talked about one of my favorite things to do is to look myself in the eyes deeply in the mirror and tell me how much I love me, because I really love me. And it's a very
Italian. Why wouldn't you love
I know, right? But it's a very powerful experience. There really is something about the windows to the soul and making promises to myself and cheering myself on and being gentle with myself when I slide from a goal, but helping myself stay on the path and, really having those conversations. I give all of you permission. You're not nuts if you talk to yourself. Really love yourself, talk to yourself, be your biggest fan and your best cheerleader. And it will do wonders for your life, I believe. So actually that leads us down to, well, I wanted to ask you first before we get to your tip. So are you now open to, is it virtual coaching or group coaching or online courses to help chiropractors?
Well, I have a whole coaching system.
Okay.
I mean, there's online. I do personal one-on-one coaching. I mean, we do seminars. So we do the whole thing. It's called Elite Coaching, elitecoachingllc.com. So that's one thing. And we definitely
could be in person, could be virtual, could be a group, all the things. It's all the things. Okay. Okay, great.
And then the Healed program, right now we have a whole online system, and I'm going to be launching a online coaching, a whole nother more advanced coaching system that helps people find their soul purpose. They can get out of where they are. 93% of Americans don't know their purpose. So you figure you're living a life maybe your parents wanted you to live. Well, I'm supposed to grow up, have a family, have 2.5 kids, a dog, and live with a white picket fence. And now they haven't. And they're like, this isn't who I am. Yeah. I mean, I love the picket fence and I love my family, but, I was called to be an artist or, instead of a whatever, bank manager or whatever it is. So you figure 93% are living a life that isn't their sole purpose. Now, there may be parts of it. I'm sure family is your sole purpose. There may be parts of your life.
So let's just be clear. So you have programs very specific for chiropractors, coaching
Yes.
and online and hybrid and in person and virtual and all the things. But then you also have this other program that chiropractors and or the average
General public.
individual can come and seek and work through this process with you. So I just wanted to
Absolutely.
clarify for our audience. So if you are that person or you know someone like that, then send them to this information. Now let's give them a tip. Let's give everybody out. We've actually given lots of tips if you've been paying attention, but let's give them a very specific tip that could help improve someone's life today.
Well, I'll give you one from chiropractic and one spiritually. First of all, we're in a flexion distorted society. You have to get an extension every night. When you spend the day like this, it's going to break your body down. You're going to get sick. And that's what we talk about in this book, Best Kept Secret to Heal Your Back Pain. I would take a roll towel and put it under your neck and lay your head back. You have to get an extension every day to find a great chiropractor that studies these advanced techniques. Go to idealspine.com, look under resources, go under doctor directory and plug in your zip code and find a doctor that has studied this technique. Great. So that would be one. You have
Does that
to get
mean they studied with you if we find them there?
That's not my website.
Okay, that's not your website.
But that's the technique.
I see.
So you can find a doctor in your area. So just know you have, if you got a desk job, man, every hour, just lay your head back for 2 minutes. You have to get an extension every day. Extension is life, flexion is death.
Oh, okay. Well, I started a couple of years ago standing every day instead at my desk instead of sitting leaned over. I'm standing now, which is I feel much better. And then I actually even have a walking pad here so that 4 to 6 hours of the day, if I'm standing here extended amounts of time, I'm also walking slowly. So I feel like I have a little movement. So hopefully that's something good.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay. So now share with us. That's right. Get ready. You out there watching, put in the comments the favorite cause that you have and hit that share button because we want to inspire someone to give time, treasure, or talent to a cause they care about. Maybe they'll be inspired by the cause you write in the comments. Maybe they'll be inspired by Dr. Fred's cause. Maybe they will just remember that they have a cause close to their own heart and begin to give again. Or maybe they'll just do something kind. But make sure you put what you love in the comments and hit that share button so we can get it out to the world and something good can happen. You can be a hero just by hitting share. It's super simple. Dr. Fred, what's a cause that you care about?
Well, I look at there's a number of things I care about, and I definitely care about the healthcare system. So, but the thing is, what does your audience care about? I mean, you got to look at what's your sole purpose, what drives you. There's certain things that I know that I'm on this planet for those things. And if I mention those, they may not resonate with people, but that's my sole purpose.
Right.
So the thing I would say, we have a Christian-based audience is, I look at what our churches do. They create missionaries everywhere. They go and they build homes or they feed kids or
clean water, all the things.
Yeah. It's like, what is your purpose? And I would bet your church is already involved in that because that's going to fulfill your heart. And then you're passionate about it. You want to get up in the morning. You want to do more. And then you may find that the job you're in isn't really what you're supposed to be doing. It's maybe this thing. It could be something you expand and start on your own, or it could be something you collaborate with what's already done. But the main tip is find why you are here.
Yeah,
if you need help, go to the Healed System, thehealedsystem.com. But I would look in your church first and see.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, even if you're inspired by what some of the mission trips are doing, start by giving. And then maybe the next year you plan on actually going. The people that you meet on those trips will be lifelong friends. The experiences that you have in those travels and those can sometimes be the moments where you do connect when you do something totally out of the box, out of your comfort zone, out of the country, even in some cases, and have an experience experience of deep meaning that can lead you to exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So I think that's great advice, a great cause. Now, one of the other things that just lights me up like a Christmas tree, and one of the other beliefs I believe we truly leave a legacy on this earth, is when we leave behind things that inspire people, whether it's a song or an online course or a video or a book. There are so many books that so many people who are no longer here on this planet have touched me and inspired me and supported me in my passion and in my business. And they're not here. They've been gone a very, very long time. So I always ask our guests to share a book not written by them that inspired their personal life or helped them grow their business. What do you have for us, Dr. Fred?
It seems like there's a book for each period in your life. So there's been so many impactful books. I would say the one that comes to mind first is The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And it's really has, if we had to boil it down to one theme, then it's really, which is the main theme of my book, You're More Powerful Than You Think, is being before doing. The problem with America is we're so busy with our task lists and doing that we don't pay attention. You go to Italy, and they meet for lunch to do business. Americans, let's talk about, they're like, no. Let's eat. Let's have some coffee, manja. We got to eat first. We got to get to know each other. Lunch is 2.5 hours. Why? Because they understand that connection is first. And connection with yourself. And so why are we really here? Why did Christ come? I learned through having experiences out of body with Christ that he came not to just show us who he is. He came to show us who we are, and we all have that Christ consciousness. We all have the Spirit of God, Christ, within us. So if your only responsibility is to do whatever it takes that moves you into more of a Christ consciousness, more moments of the day throughout your life. We still are human, but if you can get a couple moments or a moment, maybe eventually we can turn moments into a life.
So tell us the name of the book again, just I want to make sure everyone caught.
7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
7
by Deepak Chopra. And those 7 spiritual laws basically boil to one thing: being before doing. It's not what you do, it's the energy or the consciousness you do it with.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love that. And I love your energy and I love your passion for your belief. And I will one more time throw our loving disclaimers out there. We have not in this show given you financial, medical, or legal advice. And we are open to all and all are welcome. So whatever your belief system and whatever drives you, and we want you to feel comfortable and welcome here, and know that, I know a lot of people who aren't as comfortable with the concept of Jesus, but more of energy and all being connected and a greater creator. And I just want you to know that we're embracing you as well. And we're embracing Dr. Fred and his passion and purpose and beautiful evangelist spirit to share with us his relationship with God and Jesus as he sees it and knows it. And I love that. And I think it's very, very beautiful. I just want everyone to always feel comfortable to be here, that we have value for every living soul, because we are all one, in my opinion. So very, very beautiful. Now let's talk about your book, or it sounds like books. Have you written more than one? Talk to us, Dr. Fred.
I have a chiropractic book, the best kept secret to heal your back pain. I know that it says back pain, but what it's really about is your whole healthy life. The other book I wrote is on Amazon. It's called You Are More Powerful Than You Think. And what it does is it introduces the healed system.
You are more powerful than you think. I love that.
Well, and that's really, what's that mean? Going from your mind to your heart, really. That's our journey, right? 18 inches. It's the longest, shortest journey of our life, right? So that's the whole idea of you're more powerful than you think. It's really who you are, not what you're thinking all the time. So it introduces that system. You can go and get it on Amazon. It's truly a transformational book. There's exercises
Oh, good.
in
Yeah, I
every
love that.
step. And yeah, and then you can go to thehealedsystem.com. That's the whole online program. And the people that have gone through that have had major transformations. Geez, just clearing of all the things, taking your emotional backpack off. Like that is a life changer right there. Actually feeling the state of internal peace.
Yeah, that's really big. There's a lot that can be said for mindset. And so the fascinating thing I hear that when you purchase this book and when you go to this program, you don't get just a book or just a process and a checklist. You get in a community of others who have successfully experienced this. You now have this a sense of a collaborative accountability and nurturing and support for you in a way that you may not find. There's lots of books out there that you can find on every topic under the sun, but this one I think gives you a very unique, full encompassing support for you. So I love that you have built this book as well as community. So tell them one more time the name of your book.
You Are More Powerful Than You Think. And then the chiropractic book is a life changer. The best kept secret to heal your back pain.
Really, and you're really healing yourself from the inside out. Again, we're not giving you medical advice. Go see your doctor. Don't call us later, but check this out, because if you've been struggling for a solution, you are looking for something holistic. This just might be something that works for you. Definitely has worked for Dr. Fred and his experiences and many of his patients. So we can lovingly say that. It has just been such a joy, Dr. Fred, to have you on the show. I hope that you have had the same experience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I do want to remind all of you watching, I got so excited about Dr. Fred's book that I forgot to tell you to put your favorite books in the comments. And if you're an author, oh, please add your books as well. And if you hit the share button when you add your book that you've authored, then someone else may be inspired to do the same. And then we can promote and feature your book through the comments of these many places that our show is running. It's been running for 8 years now. We have over 50,000 followers on many, many platforms. You see us, I think we're on up to 17 different spaces now. You'll see a custom article on Dr. Fred. And if you're thinking, wait, I'm an industry expert, I could help improve someone's personal life or grow their business, well, just reach out. My team would love to get you featured. We'll tell you just what to do to make that happen. And now, before we say goodbye today, Dr. Fred, we would love for you to share a piece of information or inspiration, a final thought to leave us off on our show today.
Oh man, well, I would say I would kind of stick with what we've done is that we already talked about being before doing. I think certainly believe that we're here for a reason. Find your purpose. You know, it's we're all here to express our divinity, right? And to evolve, if you want to call it the Christ consciousness. As long as we seek to do that. I don't know what your path is. I mean, we can certainly help, but I don't know what your path is. But if you just set your heart to that, so many blessings will come into your life. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. But in today's world where there's so much chaos, uncertainty, unpredictability, as long as you stay spiritually grounded and you stay healthy, you're going to make it to the other side.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Keep your health at its max and stay spiritually rooted. Seek to always evolve to that next level. And then you're above all these things. You don't take the world so seriously because what's in you is greater than anything that's outside of you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Be true to that person inside of you. Thank you so much for all your wisdom and sharing your experiences, your viewpoints, and your passion, Dr. Fred, today. And all of you, thank you for being with us. Thank you for commenting and being involved. Thank you for sharing. We've loved having you follow us all these many years and many more to come. as long as I follow Dr. Fred's advice here. And until next time, I'm your host, Jessica Koch. This is Profound Professionals. And be kind to yourself out there. Be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.